A few days before my wedding to the second prince, he changed his mind. He wanted to marry Yuching, my father's illegitimate daughter instead. My father was overjoyed. He brought Yuching into our home, officially adopted her under my mother's name, and declared her my legitimate younger sister. The second prince told me, "You are the epitome of grace and refinement, Shen Mingzhu. Your reputation is spotless. Your father is a high-ranking minister, and your maternal grandfather controls half the trade routes in the eastern provinces. Even if you are not my primary consort, no one will dare to look down on you. After 3 months of marriage, I will bring you into my household as a secondary consort." He probably didn't know that the reason his mother, Imperial Consort Lan, had tried so hard to arrange our marriage was not because I was the pinnacle of noble ladies, nor because of my father's position, but because my grandfather was the wealthiest merchant in the East. After hearing his words, I returned the betrothal agreement the very next day. Finding another husband wouldn't be difficult. After all, he wasn't the only prince vying for the throne. The day Yuching arrived, I was putting the final stitches into my wedding gown. My mother had embroidered it for me before she passed away. All that was left was the phoenix's eye. A few more stitches and it would be ready to take flight. "Miss, the second prince is here," my maid Chun Dao announced from the door. Prince Yuching was my fiancé. He entered with a woman behind him. I looked up to see a delicate creature who looked as if a gust of wind could blow her over. He led her in. "Qinglin, this is your older sister. Don't be afraid." The woman named Yuching curtsied timidly. "Greetings, elder sister." I put down my needle and looked at the prince. "Your Highness, my mother had only one daughter. Where did this sister come from?" He smiled. "I met Qinglin a few months ago and only later learned she was your sister. Your father has just brought her into the family and was about to tell you. She is younger than you and shy. Please look after her." I stood up. Matters of bloodline are not to be taken lightly. If she is truly my sister, my father should announce it to the clan. I am just a daughter. I have no say in the matter. Tears welled up in Yuching's eyes. "Your Highness, does my sister not like me? Perhaps I should go back." Prince Yuching held her back and glanced at me. "Mingzhu, what are you doing? I told you she is timid. You are frightening her." A senior maid from my father's courtyard entered. "First Miss, the master has already held the ancestral ceremony and added the second Miss's name to the family registry. Her name is now Yuching. The master also said that the sisters should love each other and that the first Miss should be patient with the second Miss, as she is still young." Yuching's tears turned to a smile. Prince Yuching playfully pinched her nose. "See, I told you on the day we met that I would make sure you were recognized. You are now the second Miss of the minister's house. No one can look down on you. And your father has said that since you are registered under Mingzhu's mother's name, you are also a legitimate daughter. No one will dare to question your status when you become my princess." My heart sank. "What does your Highness mean by that?" He acted as if he had just remembered. "I fell in love with Qinglin at first sight. I was thinking that with her gentle nature, she would be bullied if she entered my household as a secondary consort. So, I thought we could switch your positions. She will be the primary consort, and that way no one will dare to harm her. Mingzhu, you are strong and capable. As a secondary consort, you can manage the household, and the two of you as sisters will get along perfectly." The color drained from my face. "You want to break off our engagement? Our wedding was only days away." He laughed. "It is not breaking it off, just changing your status from primary to secondary. Don't worry, Mingzhu. Your father is a minister and your grandfather's wealth is legendary. Even as a prince's secondary consort, no one in the capital will dare to disrespect you. When you are in my household, Qinglin won't know how to manage anything. You will still be in charge. She will just be a pampered little thing. Yuching buried her face in his chest, feigning embarrassment. My prince, you tease me. His laughter filled the room. I stared at him, wanting to crack open his skull to see what was inside. The marriage of a prince's primary consort was not something that could be changed on a whim. This was a public humiliation, a slap in the face. He wanted to have it all, the delicate, illegitimate beauty as his wife and me, with my immense financial backing, as his secondary consort. His calculations were precise, but he was about to find his basket empty. I slowly folded the wedding gown. Your Highness, how do you plan to explain this to your mother? He smiled and put an arm around my shoulder. That is why I say you are the cleverest, Mingzhu. I think it would be best if you went to the palace and told her yourself. Just say that you feel you are not worthy of being the primary consort and wish to yield the position to Qinglin. She is so gentle and sweet. My mother is sure to love her. If you are the one to say it, my mother won't be able to blame you. She will only praise your sensibility. His humiliating words washed over me, leaving me ice cold. In the years since our engagement, whenever he needed vast sums of money for his political schemes, my grandfather had spared no expense, sending chests of silver to me to pass on to him. My grandfather always said, as long as the second prince ascends the throne, our Mingzhu will be the Empress. I would give anything for her. The money we had spent on him over the years could have built a mountain of silver. And for what? A thankless wretch. I closed my eyes in disappointment. A prince with so little sense was a lost cause. But fortunately, he wasn't the only one in the running for the throne. My voice was steady. Very well. Tomorrow I will take Qinglin to the palace to see Imperial Consort Lan. Imperial Consort Lan was fond of me because of my background. I was her ideal choice for a daughter-in-law. But when I knelt before her, holding up the betrothal agreement to nullify it, her face turned to stone. Imperial Consort Lan, the second prince, has given his heart to Yuching and wishes to make her his primary consort. I do not wish to stand in the way of his happiness. However, my late mother's final wish was that I should only be a wife, never a concubine. Therefore, I implore you to rescind the marriage contract between the second prince and myself. His Highness says that Qinglin is gentle and obedient, a rare treasure that your Highness is sure to love. Please grant them your blessing. With that, I presented the agreement and bowed my head. The consort's face was livid. She stared at Yuching. Yuching, lift your head. Let me see this gentle treasure for myself. Yuching looked up, a coy smile on her face. Thank you for your praise, Your Highness. Then you shall stay in the palace today so I can see for myself just how wonderful you are. You must know how to brew tea. Make a bowl for me. Less than an hour later, Yuching was kneeling before the consort's chambers, trembling, a bowl of tea in her hands, not daring to rise. The consort's voice was like ice. An illegitimate daughter, and you wish to be my son's primary wife. You are not even worthy of being a secondary consort. If not for you, my son would never have lost his mind. Yuching was kept in the palace. The moment I returned home, my father's roar met me at the door. Insolent girl! A sharp slap landed on my cheek. His face was a mask of fury. Qinglin grew up outside, suffering. You have enjoyed a life of luxury. Yet you are so petty as to frame her over the position of primary consort, humiliating her in front of the consort and getting her punished. Are you satisfied now? How could I have such a venomous daughter? Let me tell you, the position of primary consort can only be Qinglin's. If you are obedient, the prince might still grant you the position of secondary consort. If you continue to be so willful, you will be nothing more than a lowly concubine. Take the first miss to the ancestral hall. She is not to rise until the second miss returns. The next day, the capital was buzzing with the news. The second prince was kneeling outside Imperial Consort Land's chambers, begging for permission to marry the minister's illegitimate daughter. If the consort did not agree, he would kneel there until he died. Yuching was weeping. Your Highness, do they all dislike me? Is it just because of my birth? I don't want to be a burden to you. I can leave. Prince Yuching held her, his heart aching. Don't worry. I will marry you as my primary consort with all the honor you deserve. In the end, Imperial Consort Lam relented, but only after the prince had collapsed from exhaustion. The decree naming Yuching as the second prince's primary consort arrived with her when she returned. She looked at me, kneeling in the ancestral hall, with a triumphant smirk. Sister, from now on, you will have to bow to me. I am the primary consort, after all. No matter how high your birth, no matter how rich your grandfather, you are just a concubine. I know you look down on me, call me an illegitimate daughter, but so what? Father dotes on me. And the second prince loves me. From now on, you will address me as Your Highness, the princess consort. Oh, and father said that I should have a share of the dowry our mother left for you. I am off to the treasury to pick out my things. I don't even know where to start. She left, her voice dripping with triumph. My maid Chun Dao was furious. Miss, they've gone too far. They stole your marriage and now they want to steal your mother's dowry. Prince Yuching came to the hall to release me. Minister Shen was just worried about Qinglin. Don't hold it against him. Mingzhu, I know you love me. I promise you, even if you are not the primary consort, I will give you all the honor of one. When I bring you into my household, it will be in a grand sedan chair. I looked at him. Your Highness, our engagement has been nullified. Did your mother not tell you? He looked at me with a patronizing fondness, as if coaxing Yuching. Now. I know being a secondary consort is a grievance, but Qinglin is very understanding. She said that if you like, you can have the main courtyard. She will live in the side courtyard. Are you happy now? Don't worry. I will not neglect you. You are the most sensible. Don't be difficult. I ignored him and walked out of the hall. Yuching was waiting, and she clung to his arm. Your Highness, our wedding is in a few days. Will you help me choose some jewelry from the treasury? I stopped. The treasury? Those are my mother's things. What right do you have to choose anything? Tears welled in her eyes. Father said that she is my mother too and that I have a right to her things. Sister, I know you are unhappy that I am to be the primary consort, but you cannot defy our father. I called for the guards. From now on, if anyone other than myself tries to enter my mother's treasury, report it to the authorities immediately. Prince Yuching looked at me. Mingzhu, Qinglin is your sister. Since it is your mother's dowry, she has a right to half of it. You are being unreasonable. I laughed, pointing at her. Your Highness, if you wish to marry an illegitimate daughter, that is your business. But her mother was a courtesan. If she wants a dowry, she can ask her own mother. To claim a share of my mother's legacy is an insult to her memory. I fear my mother would rise from her grave to settle accounts with my father. Yuching's tears fell. Sister, I am a legitimate daughter of this house. Why must you be so cruel? If you are angry because I am to marry His Highness, then I won't. I can live a life of solitude in a convent. I don't want to lose our sisterly bond. I sneered. Sisterly bond? I think not. Your marriage to the prince is your own affair. My engagement to him is over. And do not think so highly of yourself. Not everyone is like you, so eager to steal another's fiancé. He was getting angry. That is enough. I may dote on you, but you must know your place. The position of a prince's secondary consort is an honor many would kill for. If you do not marry me, who in this capital would dare to marry you? I just looked at him coldly. He seemed to have forgotten that he was not the only prince in this empire. He stormed off. I heard his guard ask, "Your Highness, do you think the first miss will refuse to enter your household? To be demoted from primary to secondary consort is a great humiliation. How will she face society?" Prince Yuching sneered. "She is just a minister's daughter. Once it is known that our engagement is off, who would have her? Don't worry. I will make a grand show of the betrothal gifts. Women are easy to please." I clenched my fists. A man so disgusting was not worth my time. On the day of the wedding, the minister's house was a festive scene. My father had brought out all his treasures for Yuching's dowry, as if afraid the world wouldn't know of his preference. Prince Yuching arrived in his royal attire, and the streets were packed with onlookers. Is the prince mad to choose an illegitimate daughter over a proper lady? I heard her mother was a famous courtesan. She must be skilled in the arts of pleasure, if you know what I mean. The first miss is so pitiful to have her marriage stolen right before the wedding. Well, what can you do? I saw that illegitimate daughter at the jewelry shop the other day. The way she flirted could charm any man. The prince is a lucky man, in a way. The bride is coming out. The bride is coming out. Candy and coins were thrown into the crowd, and people scrambled for them. An imperial decree has arrived. The prince looked smug. It must be from my mother, asking father to grant Qinglin some favor. The entire household knelt. Yuching lifted her veil, wanting everyone to see her triumphant expression. By order of His Majesty, the Emperor, Shen Mingzhu, the legitimate daughter of Minister Shen of the Ministry of Rights, is virtuous, gentle, and of noble character. She is hereby betrothed to the first prince as his primary consort. It is our wish that they live in harmony and wed on an auspicious day. By imperial command. Everyone was stunned. Prince Yuching stared at the eunuch in disbelief. This is impossible. Mingzhu is to be my secondary consort. I was going to marry her after my wedding. I told my mother. The eunuch's face was stern. Your Highness, be mindful of your words. This is an imperial decree. I bowed my head respectfully. This subject accepts the decree and thanks His Majesty for his grace. As soon as the eunuch left, Yuching glared at me. Sister, you are truly fortunate to be engaged to the first prince so soon after breaking off your engagement with the second. I held the decree and looked at her. Princess Consort, be mindful of your words. This is the Emperor's command. If you have doubts, perhaps you should ask him yourself when you go to the palace to offer your thanks. Her face turned shades of red and white. Prince Yuching grabbed my arm. Mingzhu, how could you marry my brother? You know I was going to marry you. I just needed another month to ask father to grant you the position of secondary consort. That was exactly what I was afraid of. So on the day I left Imperial Consort Land's chambers, I ran into the first prince. I made a deal with him. I would use my grandfather's vast wealth to support his bid for the throne, and in return, he would make me his crown princess. The wealth of the East was something the Empress and the first prince had always coveted. The Empress had once suggested a match between her son and me, but my mother had declined, citing my existing engagement. Now that the second prince had made such a foolish mistake, there was no saving him. When the Empress heard of her son's request to marry me, she was overjoyed. Don't worry, she had said. On the day of Consort Land's son's wedding, I will ask the Emperor for a decree. 2 daughters of the minister's house, both married to princes. What an honor for the family. Thinking of this, I pulled my hand away. Your Highness, I am now the first prince's intended. Our betrothal is a thing of the past. It would be best if we kept our distance. His eyes were red. But you love me. How can you marry another man? I smiled faintly and said in a voice only he could hear, Your Highness, what I love is supreme power. I want the highest position. If you cannot give it to me, there are others who can. Then I stepped back and said in a louder voice, Your Highness, the auspicious hour has arrived. I wish you and my sister a long and happy marriage. The wedding matron stepped forward. The bride is departing. Lift the sedan. Yuching left, but all the guests surrounded me. Congratulations, first miss. Or should I say, Your Highness, the princess. A perfect match for the first prince. Minister Shen is so blessed. One daughter married to the second prince, the other to the first. My father's face was livid, but he could not show it. That night, after the guests had left, he smashed a teacup on the floor. Insolent girl! What are you trying to do? 2 daughters of this house married to 2 princes. What is your game? Are you just trying to spite your sister on her wedding day? You had to stir up trouble. I looked at him. Father, does my marriage to the first prince bring you shame? This is an imperial decree. If you are not willing, perhaps you should tell the emperor. Defying an imperial decree was treason, punishable by the death of the entire family. He was a coward. He pointed at me. Tomorrow you will feign illness. In a few days, I will inform the emperor that you are too sick to marry into the royal family and that the first prince should choose another. My nails dug into my palms. Father, I am your daughter too. Are you so unwilling to see me marry the first prince that you would risk treason? He looked at me with disgust. You're just like your mother, full of schemes. Despicable. Your precious Yuching begged her for help, but she refused to let her into this house. They had to live outside. And from a young age, Qinglin was taunted for being a courtesan's child. All because of your mother. Thinking of my own heartbroken mother, my eyes reddened. Yuching sold herself to a brothel. Was that my mother's fault? You, a minister, could not legally marry a courtesan. And you expected my mother to help you bring a courtesan into this house. You were trying to get her killed. Your Qinglin had no father. Did she ever suffer? You spent all your time at her residence while my mother withered away in sorrow. Was that not because of you? You coveted my grandfather's wealth and my mother's dowry to advance your career. Yet you looked down on her for being a merchant's daughter. You were infatuated with a courtesan and blamed my mother for not welcoming her. A man like you is not fit to be a husband or a father. Enraged, he raised his hand to strike me. I stepped forward. Father, I am the future first princess. Do you dare to touch me? If you do, when I am in my position, I will make your precious daughter kneel at my feet and beg for mercy. If you lay a single finger on me, I will make her life a living hell. With that, I turned and left. I knew he didn't like me, but I never imagined he could be so cruel for the sake of his mistress's daughter. A father like that was not worth having. The next day, I went to the palace to offer my thanks and ran into the second prince and his new wife. Prince Zhaochen's eyes were red. Mingzhu, why are you here? Are you here to tell father you don't want to marry? If you are, I can help you. I stepped back. Thank you, Your Highness, but that won't be necessary. I am simply here to offer my thanks for the decree. Yuching looked at me with a smug smile. Sister, you have not yet bowed to me. Her attendant immediately stepped forward and tried to force me to my knees. I must teach my sister how to properly greet a princess consort so she does not make a mistake in front of the emperor. My intended does not need to bow to you. A gentle voice came from behind me. It was the first prince. He helped me up. He looked at his brother. Brother, you should teach your new wife some manners, lest she become a laughingstock. Prince Zhaochen looked at Yuching's crestfallen face but said nothing. He just lowered his head. Yes, brother. In the main hall, the emperor, the empress, imperial consort Lan, and all the other consorts were present. I knelt and offered my greetings. The Empress bid me rise. Mingzhu and my son make a beautiful pair, she said, and had a pair of ruby and jade hairpins brought for me. A gift from the Emperor. They will look lovely on you. Wear them on your wedding day for good luck. May you have 100 sons and 1,000 grandsons. Imperial Consort Lan's face was green. She looked at the silent Yuching and grew even angrier. Your Majesty, my son and his new wife are here to pay their respects. Yuching quickly knelt. Greetings to your Majesties, the Emperor and Empress, and to Imperial Consort Lan and all the consorts. The Empress gave her a pair of ordinary jade bracelets and a book of virtues. Since you have married into the royal family, you must learn the rules. I hope you will study this well. The Emperor was busy and soon left with the Crown Prince and the second prince. The consorts began to chat. Minister Shen's 2 daughters are so beautiful. The elder is more dignified, the younger more charming, one whispered. Well, of course she is charming. You know who her mother was. It runs in the family. Imperial Consort Lan's face darkened. Seeing the Empress's amusement, another consort chimed in. Let's hope the apple falls far from the tree. Consort Lan, you should assign a few tutors to the new princess, lest she bring shame to the second prince. Tears welled in Yuching eyes. I covered my mouth with a handkerchief and whispered with a laugh, Sister, save your tears. Your prince is not here to see them. Her eyes darted around, and then she said loudly, Sister, why do you mock me? Even if you are to be the first princess, you cannot treat me so. I am new to the palace and do not know the rules. Why must you laugh at me? Her little scheme was laughable. I stood up. Your Highnesses, please forgive my sister for speaking out of turn. I was not mocking her. I was merely advising her that it is unlucky to cry on the second day of her marriage, especially in front of you all. The consorts were merely chatting, not scolding you. If you cry, it will only make them feel awkward. The Empress gave me a look of approval. The other consorts exchanged glances and continued, Oh, why is the second princess crying? Did we say something wrong? The Empress spoke. Your sister is right. To cry on the second day of your marriage, are you dissatisfied with the match or with us? Imperial Consort Lan's face paled. She quickly stood up to apologize. Your Majesty, she is just ignorant. I will take her and teach her some manners so she does not cause any more trouble. She glared at Yuching. Get out of my sight. Then she hastily took her leave, dragging Yuching with her. When the first prince and I left the palace, we deliberately passed by Imperial Consort Lan's chambers. We could hear her shouting, I chose a noble lady for you. But you had to have the daughter of a courtesan. You have made us a laughingstock. I have never been so humiliated in my life. The second prince was trying to placate her. Mother, don't be angry. Qinglin is just new to the palace. If you teach her, she will learn. Yuching was clinging to his sleeve, sobbing. I don't want to stay in the palace. Your Highness, do you not love me anymore? It is only the second day of our marriage. Don't leave me here. Her behavior only fueled the consort's rage. This is not the conduct of a noble lady, of a princess. Ichen, if you do not discipline this wife of yours, she will bring disaster upon us all. The capital was soon buzzing with the news that the second prince's new wife was being disciplined by her mother-in-law on the second day of her marriage. It was clear she had displeased the consort. When the other noble ladies went to pay their respects, they looked at Yuching with unconcealed scorn. The Empress, on the other hand, was delighted and had me brought to the palace for tea every day. Prince Jiaoqin cornered me in the garden as I was picking flowers for the Empress. Mingzhu, why are you avoiding me? I stepped back. Your Highness, be mindful of your words. I am betrothed now and cannot be seen with other men. And you have a wife. We should keep our distance. He stepped closer. What betrothal? You were supposed to be my woman. I do not consent to you marrying another. I looked at him with scorn. Your Highness, my marriage was decreed by the Emperor. Are you suggesting you will defy him? His eyes were red. I don't believe you don't have feelings for me. You must be jealous. I told you Qinglin is no threat. She is confined to my mother's palace and cannot leave. Mingzhu, let's talk. He grabbed my hand. I struggled, but he was too strong. Your Highness, I am to be your sister-in-law. What are you doing? I will call for help. He laughed. Go ahead. If they find us, they will just say we have rekindled our old flame. I will just ask father to give you to me. Mingzhu, don't be angry. My mother has scolded some sense into me. Qinglin is not fit to be a primary consort. I have told my mother to demote her. I will marry you no matter what it takes. Weren't we good together before? You were always there for me, helping me, planning for me. I know now how much you did for me. Mingzhu, I cannot be without you. I tried to pull my hand away. His regret came too late, but the madness in his eyes frightened me. Your Highness, what are you doing? A shriek came from behind us. It was Yuching. She ran towards us, a basket in her hands. Your Highness, you said you would come for me today. Why are you here with my sister? Seeing his hand on mine, she screamed. Sister, His Highness is now your brother-in-law. How can you have such wicked thoughts? Are you trying to steal my husband? I know you have always loved him, but he is married now. Have you no shame? Smack. I slapped her across the face. Yuching, if you continue to be so ill-mannered, then I, as your older sister, will have to teach you a lesson. She held her cheek. You dare to hit me? I am a princess consort. You are not yet married to the first prince. You should be bowing to me, and you dare to hit me. I held my head high. You are arrogant and ill-mannered. As your sister, it is my duty to correct you, lest you bring shame upon our family. She lunged at me, but Prince Jiaochen stopped her. Stop it. This is the palace. She is a guest of the Empress. Are you trying to get yourself killed? She screamed. I don't believe it. I am a princess consort. The Empress wouldn't dare to punish me for hitting a mere subject. She pushed him aside and charged at me. Seeing her coming, I decided to play along. I stumbled backward and fell into the lake. She froze, then sneered. Maybe a dip in the water will clear your head. Seeing people running towards us, I let myself sink, choking on water. Prince Jiaochen's face paled. Help! Someone help! A dark figure shot out from the side, dove into the lake, and pulled me out. It was the first prince. The commotion had drawn a crowd. The Empress and Imperial Consort Lan arrived just in time to see the first prince jump into the water to save me. The Empress clutched her chest. My son! Someone save my son! Imperial Consort Lan's legs gave out. Her attendants helped her up and explained what had happened. She glared at her worthless son, then at Yuching. Insolent! Yuching cried. Mother, it was Mingzhu. She framed me. She fell in on her own. Prince Jiaochen was furious. Shut up. Everyone saw you push her. How can you be so venomous? She is your sister. She gave up her marriage for you, and you tried to kill her. The first prince carried me ashore. Attendants rushed over with a sedan chair and blankets, and I was taken to the Empress's chambers. The royal physician was summoned. The Empress was frantic. My son, get him changed. Bring him some ginger soup. She was furious. The first prince was her only son, the apple of her eye. And now he had been put in danger because of Yuching. Such madness is not befitting of a princess. And Consort land does nothing to control her. This is not just a disgrace to the second prince, but to the entire royal family. Yuching, for your insolence and unworthiness, you are hereby demoted to secondary consort and will kneel for 3 days. Yuching knelt before the Empress's chambers for 3 days without food. Imperial consort Lan was implicated and confined to her chambers for 3 months for failing to discipline her daughter-in-law. Without his mother's guidance and my strategies, Prince Yuching was like a headless chicken. He floundered, bungling several assignments and earning the Emperor's displeasure. 2 weeks later, I married the first prince and officially became the first princess. My grandfather's network and resources were all transferred to me. He looked at me with affection. Mingzhu, your mother was my only daughter. She left this world too soon. Now I entrust all of this to you. I know you will use it well. I used that wealth and influence to pave the way for my husband. The Emperor was pleased with his recent performance. My son has grown up, he told the Empress. Marriage has matured him. He is capable and decisive. The ministers say he reminds them of me in my youth. Of course he was capable. My grandfather's people were now our people, working for us. After Yuching's demotion, Prince Yuching was quickly married to the daughter of the Minister of Justice, a spoiled and willful young woman named Lady Mirong. Her first act upon entering the prince's household was to confine Yuching to her courtyard. Your Highness, she had said, has she not caused enough trouble? Do you want to anger the Emperor and Empress further? Thinking of Yuching's past mistakes, he had silently agreed. But she would not be so easily contained. She slipped away from her guards during a banquet and, dressed as a dancer, performed her mother's famous peony dance. Barefoot, her toenails painted red, she danced on a lotus-shaped platform, her movements mesmerizing. A drunken duke asked the prince for the dancer, and he, seeing it was his influential uncle, readily agreed. Yuching, who had been waiting for the prince to recognize her talent, was instead bound and gagged and carried off to the duke's manor. She screamed that she was a princess consort, but no one listened. The duke frowned. Too noisy. Give her a potion to make her mute, lest she cause trouble. She was forced to drink it and then thrown onto the duke's bed. The next day, she was just another one of his concubines, the mute mistress, as she came to be known. She was never seen in the capital again. A few days later, the second prince's household noticed that the food sent to her courtyard was untouched. When they investigated, she was gone. The struggle for the throne had reached its peak. The second prince managed to secure the assignment of providing disaster relief to the southern provinces, but instead of working, he spent his time sightseeing, buying concubines, and squandering money. The starving citizens rioted and nearly beat him to death. A scholar from the region sent a petition to the capital accusing him of corruption and embezzlement of relief funds. The emperor was furious. He sent an imperial inspector who confirmed the allegations. The emperor was enraged that while his people starved, his own son was enriching himself. He stripped Prince Yuching of his royal title, demoted him to a commoner, and exiled him to the northern frontier, never to return to the capital without an imperial summons. In the 36th year of the Tianqi era, the first prince was named Crown Prince, and I became the Crown Princess. That October, I gave birth to the emperor's first grandson. He was so overjoyed, he declared a general amnesty. The following September, the emperor passed away. My husband ascended the throne as the new emperor, and I became the empress. Our son was named Crown Prince. The coronation and my enthronement were held on the same day. The emperor took my hand, and together we stood on the city walls, accepting the cheers of our people. One spring day, as we were walking in the imperial garden, he said, "We should solidify the line of succession early so that if we have other children, there will be no question." They must know that their older brother is the crown prince and that it is their duty to help him protect the empire and its people. I smiled and squeezed his hand, watching our little son toddle ahead. I think he may have a little brother or sister to play with very soon. He wrapped his arms around me, his eyes on our son, and kissed my cheek. The spring breeze blew, and everything was full of promise. If you enjoyed this tale of revenge and redemption, don't forget to subscribe to Lotus Tale Studios for more captivating stories of love, betrayal, and triumph. Hit that like button and let me know in the comments which character you loved or hated the most. Until next time, may your own path be filled with justice and joy.